Okay, is bodybuilding the hardest sport there is? Well, a lot of people don't consider bodybuilding a sport. They say it's a beauty pageant, and I have to disagree with that. Even though you're being judged up on stage by who looks, I guess if you want to call it the prettiest, the most aesthetic, the most beautiful, whatever you want to call it, what goes into it is very, very extreme, and it's very, very difficult. I played all others. I played sports growing up. I played basketball. I played tennis. I excelled in soccer. I played soccer overseas. I represented the United States with the Dallas Texans in a tournament called the Gothia Cup. We were playing against teams that were getting paid at that age already when we were like 16, 17 years old, and we got second in that tournament. So I played. I mean, I've played a lot of high level sports with the soccer, and you know if I kept going towards soccer, I would probably not turn pro. I mean, that's what we were doing over there. That's how you kind of turn pro. And I'll just say this: you can go to like a third division soccer team bench player, and you're making a lot of money, a lot of money to live on and support your family and all that. When it comes to bodybuilding, and I was told this when I got started too, 20 years ago, they're like, there's not money in bodybuilding. I remember Ronnie Swire told me, he's like, you can be a great bodybuilder. You have what it takes. You have the genetics. You put on muscle easy. I was like 17 or 18 at the time. He goes, but there's really no money in bodybuilding. And 20 years ago, there still was money compared to today where there's like no money at all. And when I say bodybuilding, I mean actually being on a stage and being a competitor and being actually sponsored by, having real contracts, not affiliates. Anybody can be an affiliate. I'm talking about a real contract where you're getting paid, a full salary, and that just doesn't happen anymore. And bodybuilding isn't like other sports where you can have an off season, you can go mess around or whatever. It is a 24/7 lifestyle. You have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. You have to train. You have to get 8 hours of sleep or more. You even take naps to rest your body. Just you pretty much your life is all about you. You eat, sleep, train, repeat, 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 and it's a very selfish lifestyle. It's not like other sports where you can go play your game, come home, chill, whatever, have a good diet. But no, I mean bodybuilding is 24/7, and we have off season. That's where we gain as much muscle as possible and improve our body parts that are lacking. And then we have a pre-contest. That's where we strip away all our body fat and present our package on stage. And what people don't understand is a lot of people want to compete today, and I used to prep a lot more competitors than I do today, just because um, it's really kind of mainstream now, kind of sort of whatever. It's a lot more people doing it since there's a lot of other classes in it. But I always tell people about the money situation, and a lot of times people are very disappointed, and it's not what they want to hear. And I'm like, anyway, I'm like, you got to be like top three in the world to even make money. I mean, I know guys. I talked to a few guys that did the Olympia the past year. We were going back and forth about me possibly coaching them, and a guy, he's ranked about probably like eighth or ninth right now in the world. He could barely afford to hire me. And so we decided not to work together. I'm like, man, you gotta, like, it wasn't gonna work out. These guys, and that's why I don't prep as much bodybuilders anymore, because used to I would be able to get contracts for people, get them signed up with photo shoots that paid. None of that goes on anymore. At least we had magazine contracts that paid you a salary if you were good. I'm not talking about just anybody like off the street. If you were good, which was a select few, we got magazine contracts. I remember that was probably one of my biggest and happiest moments when I signed with Muscle Mag International, the magazine. That was my favorite magazine growing up. And then when I got sponsored by Muscle Tech, which was my favorite nutrition company growing up, I used to look in all the magazines and see all the BS ads with the before and after, like all the funny stuff. Look what he did in 12 weeks by taking Gakic or whatever, Celtech. And those were my like two dreams, and I made that happen. I got those were my main sponsors when I was competing, and so I was good. I was making a living from it. Plus, I had all these outside sources of income. DVD sales were big at the time. I remember I had four or five of my own DVDs that Joe LaBelle produced. He was with mostmuscular.com. He's the one that got a lot of people started and put a lot of people on the map. He helped he used to come shoot me and Chris Jalali a lot. Chris Jalali passed away. He's no longer with us. He was one of my best friends, coming up in bodybuilding. And he put us on the map with a huge following, and that led to other things, that led to other things, that led to other things. And the magazines, all I did is like I literally had my mom snap some pictures of me with like a Polaroid camera. I sent it to the photographer Alex Ardenti, and he was like contacting me back in the email. I was like, yeah, I'd love to shoot you. Let me know when you want to fly out to California. I'll set it all up. And that was my first shoot. It was for Muscle Mag. It was for their other magazine called Reps, and that was when I was a little smaller, like more like a classic physique look before I put on a lot of more thickness and size. And then we had personal sponsors, which were a huge thing. You would have people you didn't even know send you money when you were prepping for a show, and it was just so cool that people that just love the sport or the industry, they would send you money just to support you while you were prepping for a show. And a lot of times that equaled more than our contracts. I'm not going to get into how much money it was, but it was a good amount of money. And there were some years that I was doing extremely well financially. And I thought it was just going to get better and better and better. I never thought like, okay, times change. We never thought print was going to go away, and print went away. And the internet came, and these websites were trying to scatter and trying to figure out how could they put the magazine online and make money. You really can't, because you put a magazine online, people just copy and paste it and put it everywhere. So many things just changed overnight. It was around 2012, 2013. It was when I was sitting out because I got injured and I had to have two shoulder surgeries on my left shoulder, and I was out a full 2 years from bodybuilding. And I was watching bodybuilding just slowly going like crashing and burning, and it was sad. And then when I came back, it was like, where's the money? it was gone. The little money that was there, well, it wasn't little at the time. What I was making, I was very blessed to make a living at the time. It was gone. And now you have the new age of social media where it doesn't really matter what you look like, how good you are. It just matters how many kind of views you get. All right. And it's kind of crazy because you don't have to work hard and get on stage. You see all these guys, girls, photoshopping all their pictures. They're so photoshopped, and they don't ever get on stage. So we never see them on stage what they actually look like when you can't shop your pictures on stage. So it's changed dramatically in the last 20 years, and it's sad, but it's literally one of the hardest lifestyles. Let me tell you. I mean, when I got injured and stepped away for a couple of years, and I came back one more year and competed, it was very, very hard coming back. I missed it, so it was a little easier to get back into it. And then my mom passed away, so it was something to keep my mind busy. But other than that, the money was gone. The magazines were gone. Most of the photo shoots were gone. Still, there was some, stuff you could make a little cash from, but no, you couldn't make a living anymore. So it's sad that it turned out like that. But with the bodybuilding, the eating, the sleeping, the training, I mean, you're going into the gym, lifting weights like as heavy as possible, just praying you don't tear something. That's how you have to go and train, that mentality. Especially at the beginning when you're putting a lot of size on. You have to eat till you're physically ill. I mean, you're so sick to your stomach all day. I mean, I remember it was terrible. So when people say, oh, it's not a sport, it's not this, it's a very, very hard lifestyle. And a lot of people wanting to get into it are in for a rude awakening, because once they start trying to do it, they're like, this is not what I expected. It messes with your mind. Your mind goes to some dark places. It's really hard on your body. It's a very selfish lifestyle. And when people retire, they can put that energy to so much other things. Like when I retired, I, put my things to I had a child at the time when I retired, and a lot of other stuff. But That's just a video, guys. Comment below what you guys think about bodybuilding and the changes all over the years, and where do you think it's going in the next 10 and 20 years.